Have you ever heard of the Rockefellers? When it comes to the best and most ideal family that describes old money adequately, the Rockefellers are one of the best examples. This family has been around for many years, with generations spanning centuries, and they have accumulated a ridiculous amount of wealth. Regardless, there is always a story to tell with old money families like this, one that describes how they become filthy rich over the years. In this video, we will look at the history of one of the world's most famous old money families, the Rockefellers. It takes a certain level of apathy not to know about the Rockefeller family, as they have been around for years and have accumulated so much wealth that even Forbes recognizes them as a family that still holds one of the largest fortunes in the world. The Rockefellers are an American family with ties to the industrial, political, and banking sectors. Plus, they have been around for so long their wealth transcends generations. But there is more to this wealthy American family than just that, and that is what we want to look at in this video section. While they have been referred to as an American family, the origin of the Rockefeller lineage goes back to the Rhineland region in Germany, as the family's origin can be traced to a German town called Neuwied in the early 17th century. The branch of the Rockefeller family based in the United States came from Johann Peter Rockefeller, a member of the original German Rockefeller family, who migrated from the Rhineland region of the country to Philadelphia in the province of Pennsylvania around 1723. In the United States, Johann Rockefeller became a plantation owner and landholder in Somerville and Amwell, New Jersey. As Jr. was one of the co-founders of Standard Oil, along with his brother William Jr. Apart from being highly focused on their businesses and generating wealth, the Rockefellers were also very religious, as most were Baptists, while some were Episcopalians. Even John D. Rockefeller Sr. was a devout Northern Baptist who supported many church-based institutions during his time. William A. Rockefeller Sr., the father of the modern branch of the Rockefeller family, isn't what most people call the best example of a family's ancestor. Although William Sr. was known as a businessman, he had other side hustles, as he was also a lumberman, salesman, herbalist, and con artist who often went by the alias of Dr. William Livingston. Another one of his businesses was land speculation, and his work as a traveling salesman selling elixirs provided him with cash while aiding his scouting of land deals. William Sr. loaned money to farmers at an interest rate of 12%, but tried to give loans to farmers who were more unlikely to pay so he could foreclose and take the farms. Besides all his shady dealings, he also served as the father of two oil tycoons, John D. Rockefeller Sr. and William A. Rockefeller Jr. John Sr. has been considered the wealthiest American of all time and the richest person in modern history due to the many business deals and strategies he made from his early years. While John Sr. was born into a large family in upstate New York and had to move several times before eventually settling in Cleveland, he still made something huge for himself and his family. He started small, working as an assistant bookkeeper at 16 before joining many business partnerships from age 20. He mainly concentrated his business on oil refining. In 1863, along with his business partners, John Sr. established an oil refinery close to Cleveland, which soon became the largest in the area. John Sr. founded the Standard Oil Company in 1870 with his brother William Jr. and many business associates, but that wasn't enough for him. John Sr. launched a pretty aggressive takeover strategy as he started buying out his company's competitors, obtaining more pipelines, and negotiating favorable rates with the railroad companies so he could transport his oil. John Sr. and his company were able to control nearly every part of the oil business and, in effect, created a monopoly, which caused the Standard Oil Company and its affiliates to combine and form the Standard Oil Trust in 1882. Oil production became essential to the American economy, and the demand increased worldwide. Oil in its various forms was used throughout the country as a light source, till electricity was introduced and as a fuel source, especially after the invention of the automobile. As a result, the family's wealth kept increasing as kerosene and gasoline became more important. John Sr. ultimately became the wealthiest person in the country, as he controlled 90% of all oil in the United States at his peak. Standard Oil Trust was the first great business trust in the United States. John Sr. revolutionized the petroleum industry through the company's monopoly over the oil sector. He was influential in both widely circulating and considerably reducing the production cost of oil through corporate and technological innovations. John Sr. and the Rockefeller family gained extraordinary wealth and power. However, his fairly ruthless practices ultimately led the U.S. Congress to pass the Sherman Antitrust Act in 1890 to outlaw monopolies. In 1911, the Supreme Court ruled that Standard Oil Trust was in violation of federal antitrust laws, and John Sr. responded to the claim by dissolving the trust into 34 separate entities. This includes several companies that eventually became ExxonMobil, Chevron Corporation, and many others, some of which still possess the highest level of revenue in the world today. John Sr. was the president of Standard Oil Trust till it was dissolved, and accordingly became America's first billionaire, with a fortune worth almost 2% of the national economy. His personal wealth in 1913 was estimated at $900 million, about 3% of the United States gross domestic product, GDP, of $39.1 billion that year. That was his highest net worth, and when adjusted to current inflation rates, it amounts to $26.6 billion. While John Sr. was making significant moves in the oil sector, William Jr. decided to diversify a bit into the copper mining business. In 1899, he joined another Standard Oil principal named Henry H. Rogers to form the Amalgamated Copper Mining Company, a holding company set to control the copper industry, and they ultimately devised a strategy that earned them a profit of around $36 million. They initially purchased Anaconda properties from Marcus Daly for $39 million, with the understanding that the check would be deposited in National City Bank, run by one of William Jr.'s friends, and remain there for a definite time. Henry Rogers and William Jr. then established a paper organization called the Amalgamated Copper Mining Company. They set their clerks as dummy directors and stated the company was worth $75 million. They had this copper company buy Anaconda properties from them for $75 million in capital stock, conveniently printed with this aim in mind, and then borrowed $39 million from the bank using the copper company as the collateral. They paid back Marcus Daly for Anaconda properties, and then sold $75 million worth of stock in Amalgamated Copper Mining Company to the public. With that, they could pay back the bank's $39 million and earn a profit of $36 million in cash. Thanks to banker John Dennis Ryan's help, Amalgamated Copper Mining Company acquired two large competitors and momentarily controlled all the mines of Butte, Montana. By the late 1920s, it became Anaconda Copper Company and was known as the fourth largest company in the world. William Sr. also served as one of the 13 directors of Mutual Alliance Trust Company, a trust company established in New York in 1902. John Sr. spent a considerable part of the last 40 years of his life defining the structure of modern philanthropy, along with several key industrialists and influential figures. His wealth was mainly used to form the modern systematic approach of targeted philanthropy, thanks to the creation of foundations that significantly impacted medicine, education, and scientific research. His foundations pioneered developments in medical research and were essential to the near eradication of yellow fever and hookworm in the United States. John Sr. also founded the University of Chicago and Rockefeller University, and funded the establishment of Central Philippine University in the Philippines. The Rockefeller family was greatly involved in many real estate construction projects in the United States during the 20th century. This includes the Rockefeller Center in Manhattan, the International House of New York, Colonial Williamsburg, the Museum of Modern Art in New York, Rockefeller Apartments, Empire State Plaza in New York, Lincoln Center in New York City, World Trade Center Twin Towers also in New York City, several churches, and many other significant buildings in the country. The family has also been involved in several major housing developments, and they made several huge donations to many Ivy League schools and other universities and colleges. This includes Harvard University, Princeton University, Stanford University, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Yale University, and 70 other universities and colleges nationwide. They also created a Paris-based mathematics research institute called Institut Henri Poincaré. the Mathematical Institute at the University of Göttingen in Germany, and many other establishments. Lastly, the Rockefeller family has created wealth over their many years of existence while maintaining the wealth of their forefathers by locking it up in a family trust since 1934. These trusts include shares in the successor companies to Standard Oil Trust, other diversified investments, and the family's real estate holdings. Management of this fortune today is overseen by the principal holding company, Rockefeller Financial Services, which controls all the family's investments, and whose present chairman is David Rockefeller Jr. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Till next time.